And good morning, everyone. Nice to see
Good morning.
you. Here we go. It is Wednesday, the 25th of August, and welcome to the John Lavenia Success Mastermind. I'm your guy, Glen Henderson. It's good to see you, and it's good to be chatting with you again. What have we got here? Well, we'll say hello in just a minute after we do a little bit of housekeeping. Let's see what's going on today. Well, let's see. Let's see. It's always interesting when you end up doing computer work and updates and stuff like 32 seconds before you're on. I think we're in good shape. General session is where we are right now. Hospitality suite right after us, and then I think we'll go back and we'll just make a couple of corrections to the calendar. We will be. I'll make these adjustments. We'll be skipping the networking magic this evening. Paula and I are on our way out of town to do some celebrating, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. And so that's the calendar, and we can see who's here. Daisy, how are you? And Kome, good morning, good afternoon, and the Money Mama's with us. How'd you do, Lindsay? Nice to see you. And of course, it's John Lavenia's ceiling. Good to see you, John. Good to see you, Godzilla. Well, I think I've mentioned before that a lot of times for these Wednesday morning conversations that we have, I tend to, well, not so much play it by ear as play it by ear. What in the world are you talking about, Glenn? I think I've heard John mention this before, and that is that we're always reading and or studying or learning some life lesson firsthand, and then I get to jump on here and share it with you. It seems to me that that is the best, or has been the best way for me to really share from my heart and from my immediate experience what's going on and has been going on lately. So that's one of the things that I'm starting with today. Really starting with a conversation that I had with a buddy of mine, and a couple of decisions that I've made recently. Perhaps things that you can relate to. We are coming to the end. Oh my gosh, I'm about to say it. Somebody's going to get mad at me right now. Summer's almost over. Jeez Louise. Is it back to school time already? Yeah, afraid so. And well, that's actually good news. Makes the backyard barbecues slightly less frequent, but it also means the beginning of the biggest, most active, most productive time of the entire fiscal year, you might say, in the entrepreneurship business, in the direct sales, the network marketing business, so many other types of businesses. And this has been documented. And I think part of the reason is that come September, people shift out of vacation mode. You know what I mean? People shift out of a vacation mindset and they shift back into, okay, time to get back to work, time to buckle down again. Here we go. A new school year, new goals, new things going on, new ventures. It's time to get serious again, right? After being somewhat or to some degree or other on vacation, on holiday this summer. Now, I know that all of us here within the John Lavenia Success Mastermind have been busting it all summer long, right? 1,000% every day. Yes? No? Well, that's all right. summer, in some ways, is supposed to be a little bit more relaxed time. The weather's great, maybe a little warm where you are, but we have this opportunity to downshift slightly, to rest, recharge, reevaluate our goals, sort of recreate our lifestyle in some cases. And I've been doing some of that this year. The other thing that's happened is I've been having some really interesting conversations this summer. One of the conversations I've been having is with a buddy of mine named Brian, who's been opening my mind up to some very cool thoughts and processes and strategies for getting out of my own way and for shifting from a mindset that was not serving me to a mindset that is propelling me forward even faster, even more quickly toward my goals. And I wanted to share a little bit of that, with some of the stuff that Brian and I had talked about, and see if it makes sense for you as an entrepreneur, as an adventurer in the world of business and success. One of the things that Brian shared, and it'll be about two or three steps that I'll walk us through. One of the things that Brian shared with me is this thought. People talk about entrepreneurship, and they talk about striking out on your own and building your own business. And they say, well, you've got to be a dreamer. You've got to be a visionary. You've got to, and it is certainly true that your average entrepreneur has a somewhat bigger view of life than someone who has chosen a career as an employee in a standard type job, which, no problem. Entrepreneurship isn't for everyone. We know that. And it is true, as I said, that entrepreneurs need to, almost by definition, have a longer view, a bigger vision of their life and of their business in the world as compared to the average person. But is that really what it takes? Or is that the only thing that it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur, as someone launching a business or looking to grow or expand or explode a business? Is that the only thing that's required? Well, Brian shared something with me that was really interesting. He said, entrepreneurship is often misunderstood in terms of what the day-to-day execution of building a business is and how it really works. Brian said to me, entrepreneurship is a gigantic exercise in logistics. Huh? That's and yet when I thought about what he said, it really made sense to me. Because if I'm going to work harder and work smarter and get more done than the average everyday person in a standard job, I'm going to need to be considerably more organized, don't you think? Wouldn't you say? I'm going to need to have better control over my time and over my activity within the time that I'm given. So what does that require? This exercise in logistics? Well, for one thing, I'm going to need to be very clear about what my priorities are. Going to need to be crystal clear about what it is I want. And most people don't really know. I seem to remember some months ago when we first started talking on these general sessions, I shared something with us, 4 questions. You remember this? Question number 1, what do you want? Question number 2, what are you willing to give up to get what you want? Question number 3, are you willing to associate with people who can help you get what you want? And perhaps more to the point, are you willing to reduce your association with people who are not supporting you in getting what you want? And number 4, do you have a plan, and are you working your plan on a consistent basis? Remember those 4, you may recall those 4 questions. Well, the first one, what do you want? The reason most people do not even choose to pursue a life of an entrepreneur or a business builder, let alone grow a business, build a business, is because they can't figure out the answer to question number 1. What do you want? Most people don't know. And again, I do not mean this as a slight or as any disrespect to anyone. As we know, entrepreneurs are a different kind of animal, different species of person, and requires that different mindset. The question is, if we are going to take that up as our pursuit in life, we're going to need to take some time and sit down and do some hard, what do we say, John? Thinking, the hardest work there is, which is why so few people choose to engage in it. So think, take some time, and let it take time. We don't have to rush through this process. What do you really want? I guess where I'm going with all of this is, summer's almost over. It's time for a refresher think. Let's sit down and reconsider, maybe reevaluate, review our goals, our priorities. What is it you really want? Where do you want your career to go? What do you want to accomplish on your job? Where do you want to be in a year, 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now? Last official weekend of summer seems to me an ideal time to sit down with a blank notebook and start thinking through some of these questions. All right? And so that's the first thing. Second thing that Brian and I were talking about was the process of changing our language. And we've talked about this too. Changing our language. In this case, I referred to releasing word patterns, phrases that do not serve us in the accomplishment of our goals, and replacing them with empowering language. A couple of examples. Those the famous words, I can't. Some people say, well, no, you shouldn't say I can't. You should say I can. Okay. How about this?
Or system manager. It's just one of the things.
How about if we be honest with ourselves? Generally speaking, within the bounds of our normal activity and our normal lifestyle, most of us are pretty capable of accomplishing just about anything we might set our mind to. Look, I have no chance of ever playing in the NFL, okay? So let's establish that. But within our own current life situation, if we've been given a goal, if a goal comes to our mind and our heart, it's probably something that we can actually accomplish, or could actually accomplish, if we set our mind and put the work to it. So it isn't a question of can't. In my book, you've heard people say, the operative word isn't can't, the operative word is won't, right? So in other words, rather than allowing myself to fall into the excuse of I can't take on this task, or I can't accomplish this thing, what about I have decided not to? Ooh, that puts the power back in my hands. As a matter of fact, very recently, I decided to release one of the major ventures that I had been working on, one of the major projects that I had been working on, because I took a really long, hard look at what was required, what my current work was toward that thing, the results that I was getting, the stats that I was seeing coming back, and I decided that it would be a better use of my time to release that thing and prioritize something else. It wasn't that I couldn't do the thing. I simply chose to do something else. I chose to release it and go do something. Now you see how very much more empowering that language is in terms of how it reorders our thinking. Can't implies I don't have the ability. Can't implies something is stopping me, or I'm allowing something to stop me. I have decided not to. I have decided to move on from that thing. I have decided to release that thing. This is part of what's discussed in the discipline, what's called neuro-linguistic programming. We can actually change our mindset, change our frame of mind by changing the words we use to describe where we are. We can change our frame of mind. We can change our outlook on the world by changing the words we use in the story we're telling ourselves about what's going on. Does that make sense? It really made a big difference for me. Here's another one. You ever hear somebody talk about their crazy schedule? Oh my gosh, my schedule's so jam-packed, it's so nuts, I got this and that going on, blah, blah, blah. My crazy schedule. Well, how about this? And we see, before I suggest an alternative, this phrase, my crazy schedule. You see how, can you see, may I offer that you might see, again, disempowering, because my crazy schedule, the implication being my schedule is running me, and it's so crazy, I can't control what's going on. Therefore, how can you expect me to get anything done? After all, my schedule is going crazy, and my schedule is running me all over the place, right? How about, this one was really interesting when Brian said it to me. Instead of my crazy schedule, what about, oh, that fits in perfectly? Why? Why might that work? Because my crazy schedule, oh, the calendar's running me. Oh, that fits in perfectly. Meaning, I can fit this activity into my schedule. I can choose to fit this activity into my schedule if I desire, if I want to. And I can choose to release this activity from my schedule if I want to. Either way, my calendar is under my control. See that? You see the difference? Here's another good one. And this one I didn't get from Brian. I just thought of this one. So, I just thought of this one myself. When's the last time you heard somebody use the term overwhelm? I'm so overwhelmed. Oh, it's so overwhelming. Everything is going on. My crazy schedule. Oh, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I don't know how I'm going to manage it all. You know what I say? When I start to get that sense of what some people call overwhelmed, you know what I say? Oh, this is really exciting. Seriously, this is really, by the way, I'm speaking in a kind of a reduced tone of voice today because a good buddy of mine of many years, my good friend Andre, is in town from New York, and he's kind of working. He's over on the other side of the living room. He's working online on the phone as well right now. You know, I can't be. I don't want to be. I choose not to be. Gail caught me. I choose not to be as animated as I sometimes can get on these calls. Anyway, this is really exciting. Again, overwhelm suggests that the world is exploding and I can't control it. I can't do anything. I mean, look at all the stuff that's coming at me. It's plowing me under. I'm drowning. I'm underwater. I'm flooded. Oh, geez, I can't handle it. Oh, overwhelm. This is really exciting. There are so many different things going on right now. So many different things happening at the same time. You know what this means? This means stuff is getting realigned. It means that There are new opportunities. There are new openings coming. And you know what? I can't wait to see what's next. This is really cool. I love new stuff. I love change. I love meeting new people. Okay, you're going to think I'm utterly insane right now. I actually really, really like moving house. Glenn, you're out of your mind. Well, yes, but I also really enjoy moving house. Why? New house, for one thing. New neighborhood. New conversations. New neighbors. Maybe new friends. New experiences. New opportunities. And I'm not talking about new opportunities to sign somebody up for my deal. New opportunities to sell somebody some stuff. I mean new opportunities to connect with new people. New opportunities to enhance somebody else's life. So, overwhelmed to me, well, first of all, do I live this perfectly every day? Yeah, that's hilarious. Here's the principle that I seek to maintain. As far as I'm concerned, there's no such thing as overwhelm. I either choose to do a thing or I can choose not to do the thing. I can either choose to add this to my schedule or I can choose to release this from my schedule. Oh, and by the way, when that thing I was telling you about, the venture that I recently chose to drop, the minute I dropped it, the minute I made that choice and notified the people involved and everything, the minute I released that thing, 2 new opportunities popped up, both of which are way, way better. And require less time, by the way. Amazing. Why did that happen? It's a very simple law of one of the laws of thermodynamics. Nature abhors a vacuum. I heard it said years and years and years ago, applied to something as silly as new clothes. Heard a guy say one time, you want to get some new clothes? You know the fastest way to get some new clothes? You know the fastest way to get some new clothes into your closet? Go in there and throw away some old clothes. Give away some stuff. Give away a couple shirts to Goodwill or whatever. You've then created a vacuum, and you've created a literal physical vacuum in your closet. And now, we tie it to something metaphysical. Nature abhors a vacuum. It just seems strange that almost every time I've done this, almost every time I've cleaned out my closet, I've then been walking through the mall with Paula or something and say, oh, what a great shirt. Honey, you'd look great in that. This is Paula talking. She dresses me about half the time. Oh, what a great shirt. Oh, honey, you would look great in those slacks. Why don't you go try them on? Before I know it, I've got a couple of new articles of clothing hanging in the closet where the old stuff was. So, how do we apply this to our life, our lifestyle, our work, our career? There are a couple of things in your schedule right now which you know good and well are disempowering you. That you're allowing those things to stay and live in your schedule, but they're blocking your progress toward your goals. And I'm pointing the finger. You see these other fingers pointing back at me? Every one of us has this. What we also have, every one of us, is the courage. You have the courage to sit down and have a think about your calendar, to have a think about your priorities. Because your reflection is your calendar is a reflection of you. Who was it? It was Shannon. It was Shannon. Yes, the secret weapon. The first lady of the mastermind, Shannon Lavenia, said, show me your calendar, I'll show you your priorities. Shannon said that. I heard her. I can testify, John. So your calendar being our calendar being a reflection of our priorities. I sat down, took a look, and the other thing, I released that thing, that venture, that turned back and looked at my calendar again. like it had almost gone blank.
Process you guys were giving the hardware.
Not quite,
But not
but there was a lot of time and I was wasting
idle cards, power cords, things of that nature.
on
So,
unproductive pursuits.
here's the program that
And now I have all that time back to devote to the things that are now important to me. And by the way, it's perfectly cool for your priorities to change month to month, season to season. My buddy Brian likes to talk about the difference between an activity driven, what did he say? An activity oriented worldview and an energy oriented worldview. That is, we don't order our lives by the stuff we're doing. We order our lives by what is important to us at that time and in that season in our lives, and that is perfectly legitimate, and I would argue desirable over just running around doing stuff, because we already know that activity does not equal production. Right? So, what are your priorities? It's perfectly okay to take a look at those anew. After all, end of summer coming. It's almost the fall season. Start of a new cycle, a new business cycle. Sit down and have a think. Take another look at our priorities, what we're looking for. What do you want? What goals are you seeking to accomplish in your business? In your personal health, do you want to drop a little weight this year? Would you like to be able to maybe complete a half marathon? Would you like to be able to, any other types of physical goals you're looking for? Would you like to improve that cholesterol number next time you go in for your physical, or whatever it might be? So let's pick a couple of those things, and let's change the language that we use around our desire to accomplish those things, and around the process. I can't becomes I've chosen not to. I can't becomes I've chosen to move on to something else. My crazy schedule becomes, oh, that fits perfectly, because my schedule is in my control. I am not at the mercy of the clock or the calendar. And overwhelm becomes, oh, this is really exciting. What do you think's going to happen? This is great. Look at everything that's going on. This has got to mean that there are some great results coming. Let's keep working. Let's keep moving forward and see what happens. Nice. I want to talk with us in future conversations here about something that I've come to think of as the calendar-driven life. Ooh, now is that an interesting topic for a future Gen Sesh? What do you think? Well, we'll save that for now. I'm about done talking. What do you think? What do you think about this whole thing? It's new cycle time. It's new business time. It's back to school time. New priorities. Change your language. What do you think?
Well, so exactly, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Talk to me. I know it. Now, see, John says this all the time, right? If somebody doesn't put their hand up, I'm just going to keep talking, which is okay with me. I mean, I can talk a while. By the way, speaking of talking a while, the TV show is going really great, really, really well. Very excited about it, and I'm going to drop the details in there so you can maybe catch me on a Friday morning. Gail, how are you, my friend?
I'm
What are you
good,
thinking?
thank you. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about your TV show. That will be really good to get the information for that. But I too love to move house. I love to move to a different area. I love to move to a different country. I've lived in 7 different countries, and it's never been a problem for me to be able to do that, because like you said, it's new opportunities, new people that you get to know, new customs. I find that to be very exciting and stimulating.
Oh yeah.
And that's really all I had to say, but I love it.
That's fantastic. Well, there you go. I think there's really something. Obviously, there is something in the human psyche, in the human way of thinking, that draws us back into the familiar, if that makes sense. Because our brains, from time immemorial, from prehistoric times, our brains, our subconscious, our fear, our sense of fear is designed to protect us, to keep us safe, to keep us alive. Now, that used to work, I think, pretty well with regards to, mammoths and T-Rexes and saber-toothed tigers and stuff, because here we are. These days, I'm not sure I can recall the last time I ran across a saber-toothed tiger. So our brains are still searching, fishing around for something to be afraid of, something to fear in order to keep us alive. And very often we attach that fight or flight response to things like rejection, to things like the uncertainty, the unknown, new situations, which our brain too often interprets as not as new and exciting, but as unfamiliar and dangerous.
Yeah.
You see the difference? And Gail, you've obviously learned and mastered the difference between unfamiliar and dangerous and new and exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see, if on would that we all had that kind of evolved view of the new place, the new people. It's great stuff.
And it would be great too if you keep that all through your life, with no matter what you've done, because for me right now, a little bit of the old stuff is creeping back in. So I have to find that excitement and not be so hesitant in different ventures and things. So,
thank you, Gail. You reminded me of something. My sainted mother, just 2 days ago, celebrated her 86th birthday. She's doing fantastic. She's in good health and great spirits. You know how good health she's in? She went to the doctor yesterday. She called me. She says, "Son, you're not going to believe this." Went to the doctor yesterday, and they did all the tests and everything and the checks. And the doctor came in. Her internist came in with the chart, and he kind of sat across from her and flipped through the chart. And he said, "Well, Mrs. Henderson, I really got nothing to say. It's nothing you need, nothing I need to do for you. What would you like to talk about?" And they had a nice chat for a half hour.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So Mama is in great health, and she is sharp. Matter of fact, my buddy Andre jumped on a little call with Mama on Monday to wish her happy birthday and all. Jumped on the call with Paula and me, and he said something. At the end of the call, Andre said, after we hung up, Andre said, "You're lying to me, Glenn." He said, that lady's not 86 years old. She's way too sharp. She's way too energetic. No, she can't be 86 years old. And I thought about it, and I realized, and this is one of the things you were mentioning, Gail, about maybe some of the familiars starting to creep back in. Do you know one of the things Mama mentioned on the call is that she has now started, at the age of 86, she has now started a new ladies group getting together in her apartment there in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Good for her.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Just a little hanging out, a little tea and snacks, a little Bible study, a little fellowship, enjoying each other's company. 86 years old. And she's the life of the party.
Yeah.
She has chosen to be the life of the party at 86 years old.
Yeah.
Who does that? Well, I'll tell you who does that. My mama does that. So
I do that too. It's just when
excellent.
It comes to business, that's my hang up right now.
Yes. And I can imagine, and I know we'll have many opportunities to get into to discuss that. The point that came to me in seeing that and having that conversation with my mama is one of the things that keeps her young and fresh and energetic is the fact that she's always starting something new.
Yeah.
She's always got a project she's working on. She always has something to look forward to. Right? And so for her, she said to me one time, because I said, Mama, how are you doing? How are you feeling? She says, well, I'm in good shape. I miss your dad, mourn him every day. My dad's been going 20 years now. May he, God rest his soul.
18 years.
Mm-hmm. And she says, but I'm doing well. I got the ladies group, nice little church that I'm going to and doing this. She says, I have my health and I'm going to work for the Lord till he calls me home. I said, you go, Mama.
That's
yes. Good. She's always looking forward. She's always looking ahead, always working on something, starting something new, bringing new groups of people together herself. Yeah. And so I think to me, for her, at the very least, that's one of the keys to her life and longevity and youthfulness and youthful attitudes. Always something new, always something going on. Yeah. She could put the rest of us to shame sometimes, huh? How about that? Well, listen. Unless there are some other thoughts here, I've got a. Have I mentioned to you all that I'm pretty much of a professional shopper? Yeah. I just ordered a couple of new little techno doodads for the house here, and so they've just been delivered. And no, I'm not rushing out. Well, something new. Yeah. Something new to install, something fun to check out, something new. And it doesn't always have to involve spending money. Yeah, I'm not saying that at all. It's just I think I've inherited that adventurer gene from my mama. Always looking to start something new, always kind of reinventing my life. And I enjoy it. Sometimes that little monkey mind or something comes back and says, come on, Glenn, you're 60 years old. You're supposed to know what's going on. You're supposed to have your stuff together. Well, you know what? I suppose I will get my stuff together at some point, just as soon as I figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And I don't mean that in the sense that I'm some kind of still immature trying to live the frat boy lifestyle. I'm just saying this is a huge world we live in. Huge. And there's 7 going on 8 billion people on it. And there's not just new companies, there's whole new industries springing up out of the ground seemingly every day. New opportunities, new places to look and possibly put my energy. Wow. Wonder what's going to happen next. What do you think, Edward? What's going on, Reverend?
How you doing, sir?
Fantastic. Doing great.
Well, I had a thought that I think that everybody would appreciate. You talk about expectations and enthusiasms, Well, think about this. History is a repeatable scenario, whether we want to
for good or for bad.
Yeah, whether we want to repeat it or not. Mm-hmm. Think about this. What happened in 1918? Do you remember?
Sure. Spanish flu.
The Spanish flu, right?
Oh.
And then what happened in the 1920s?
Oh, the next one. Cholera, I think it was, right?
That's what's greater than that. The Roaring Twenties occurred.
Yes, of course. The Roaring Twenties.
So basically, when you look at expectations and enthusiasms and opportunity, there's more pent-up demand going on right now than ever.
I think I know where you're going. Please. Go.
If you're an entrepreneur, you got to grasp it. All these logistics you're talking about, you got to have the expectation and enthusiasm that allows you to grasp that reality, grasp that possibility, because you're either gonna get to, or you're going to have to. And I'd much rather get to than have to. And somebody else shared something with me the other day and said, what is it? What if versus only if? you
If
know,
only, yes.
you
What
know.
if versus if only.
So basically, if
Yes.
we just realize where we are, we're in the 20s again, y'all, and we got 10 years, really and truly, of growth that we can maximize on.
Catch this, y'all. Catch
I'm
this.
excited. I'm excited about
Yep.
it, and all we have to do is just, believe it, realize it, and act on it.
Is y'all picking up what the man's put? Y'all picking up what the man be putting down? We are about to we are about to have another roaring 20s. We are in the new roaring 20s. Are you ready? Are you going to ride the wave, or are you going to let the wave drown you? Some people, what does it say? Some people make things happen, and other people watch what's happening, and other people say, what happened? Which one am I going to be? You know what? I like making things happen. How about you? And right along with that, I like helping other people make things happen. By golly. Man, that's some good preaching right there, Edward. The new roaring 20s. You know what? I feel a Facebook Live coming on. I may have to get up and turn the camera on and say something about this after a while. The new roaring I knew it. Virginia, my good friend. How are you?
I am great. I was on for a few minutes from my car, and now I'm home and I'm on again. So I haven't been on to catch this whole topic, but the end of it sounds really great because Julia Watson says hi. Had breakfast with Julia and her husband Joe just now in
Fabulous.
the Thornton, Denver, Colorado area, and she's selling her puzzles across the country. She lives in Idaho. Her daughter lives here, very close to me, actually. So they made stops, and she's got like 4 or 5 different prints now that are so pretty, and they're making stops on the way back. So business trip, on there. So yeah. We just had a great hour and a half sharing breakfast together. I love it. I've got some pictures that we'll have to post.
That's fabulous.
Fun to meet people in person finally.
Yes. Fabulous.
Glenn, you are always going to be my number one. You're my first. Julia's my second.
Wow.
So yeah.
You never forget your first, eh? I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I was thinking.
That is wonderful. Yeah. So it sounded like a really good, like, what are you doing? Are you the one to make it happen?
Yes.
I used to be watch things happen and wonder what happened kind of person. I really did. And so, because I really was very shy and very quiet as I grew up. It's only being married to an Italian that I got this boisterous voice and coming out and doing things. So now I'm trying to be that make thing happen person.
Virginia, I'm curious. You said that you used to be a watcher of things happening and a wonderer of what happened. If I may ask, what changed for you?
Married an Italian. Literally. Like for 18 years, I was immersed in this Italian family of, oh my God, this or that, bada bing, bada boom. You had to speak up or you got left behind.
You know
what?
And
I had to learn how to be assertive. I've moved on to aggressive. I got it back down to assertive. Yeah, I launched completely.
That is so fun. And I can almost relate to that too. I was married to an Irish woman for 16 years. As they say, I was married to an Irish woman for 16 years and lived to tell the tale. It took me going to the weddings and the funerals and the summer parties and everything. It took me 2 years to get a word in edgewise. With the old Irish Catholic family. Love them. The great people. Great. Thank you, Virginia. Hey, and we're looking forward to getting together again very, very soon.
Going to Vegas?
I will be in Vegas.
Then you need to are you going to do the gun thing or are you just going to do the Vegas thing? Go into the events and let John know.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Awesome.
I'll get the word in. And it's time to hear from the Godzilla himself. What's up? What's up, Father Lamenia?
Hey, well, thank you. Thank you, Virginia and Edward, for your perspectives. Glenn, I'll tell you what, brother, you got some great insights, but you were putting me to sleep there at the beginning with that quiet voice. I was ready to throw my phone. I was like, but you were talking about something, the vacuum law of prosperity. And I just experienced it. I cleaned out my closet. It was like 2 weeks ago. And I mean, I just hadn't worn like some of these shirts in like 20 years, like since I was doing heavy metal and, you know, all that. And I thought rather than just bring this stuff to Goodwill, I'd probably make somebody's day if I post some of these old heavy metal t-shirts on eBay.
Oh yeah.
And eBay lit up. Like I made $1,000 in like a couple hours.
What?
Like, yeah, people like I'll pay $200 for that shirt, $150. Like this is vintage, like heavy metal, you know, band t-shirt.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so what did I want out of that? I had been looking at this watch for like 2 years. I don't need another watch, but this watch is really, it just keeps showing up on my radar, and it's $900, and I just made 1,000 selling old stuff out of, I'm not done, by the way, I got more stuff to list, but, so I jumped on, since I'm on eBay already, let's see who's doing the thing with the watches, right? And I got this guy in Jordan who sold me the watch. Well, actually it was like, you know, here's the price or best offer. So I made an offer. Anyway, I wound up getting this watch for $640. It just showed up yesterday. Bam, there it is. Look at that work of art.
With enough left over to take the wife out for a cheeseburger.
That's it. So this is, you know, yeah, there's the vacuum, right? And in my case, you know, I didn't want to fill up more closet space. Part of cleaning out the closet wasn't so that I could refill it with, you know, more t-shirts or something. But what's important to me now? So our priorities shift. But if we're stalled in, these were my priorities from 20 years ago, right? Let me keep clinging on to that which mattered to me 20 years ago. Well, okay, you can cling if you want. And so yeah, that it works. It just plain works, you know. And I do have more space in my closet now, which Shannon has filled that vacuum. So
as women tend to do,
right,
with the greatest
well,
admiration.
She deserves it. She's yeah, she is amazing. And so yeah, I got more order. I love order. I got the item that's important to me now. 20 years from now, this may not mean anything. Okay. But right now, great. And so I think on that note, as I hear myself saying this, I released things that I don't need. So it's not about need. And I acquired something. I filled that so-called vacuum with something I don't need. It's not about need. So perhaps there's another hidden barometer in there, right? Is that if we're, you know, clinging to stuff that we don't need, well, perhaps we're not attracting other stuff that could be considered above the echelon of need, right? I mean, there's basic survival stuff. We've always had that, okay? But, you know, above that, if I'm looking to attract something, you know, luxury or, you know, opulence or whatever, okay, well, let's assess what we actually need, and we're not, right? And you know, kind of raise the bar in terms of our own willingness to get in the flow with that, to release and to receive. We just read in Working with the Law, about the law of receiving, and practically the whole damn chapter was about giving, which is what? The flip side of receiving. So if you want to activate receiving, give. And that doesn't mean, look, because I gave, yes, I received money in exchange, but these guys who bought these t-shirts, they are like jumping up and down. Like one guy, it was like bidding war and everything. And I've been looking for that shirt for 15 years. That's the shirt that the lead singer wore on the album. And holy crap, I'll give you $200, right? Wow. I had this guy call me. I was like, yeah, hold on, get me on the phone, right? And so we were talking, because he wanted to see what other shirts I had. And he said, I am going to be buried in that shirt. So we made the deal. And he said, I am going to be buried in that shirt. It was an old original release Cannibal Corpse t-shirt. And I'm like, really? Okay. I would wear this to the gym, get sweaty and, you know, whatever. And yeah,
one man's trash.
Right. Right.
Wow. What a thing, John.
Oh, and
but
Glenn, if you could, sorry, off topic.
Sure.
If we can get together, because every
Yes.
week it seems like we're on, we're off, we're on, we're off with the networking magic.
Yes.
So whatever's
Yes.
on the calendar, it's exactly the opposite. That's driving me freaking crazy.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yes, I will. I promise.
Right.
I will get that done. Absolutely. All right. Well, but that's really, I will see you. It was like a shirt for going to the gym and painting the back patio. His thing is, I'm wearing this shirt instead of a death shroud. I will be wearing this shirt for all eternity. Wow. Yeah. So priorities, right? Clearly your priorities have shifted over the years, which is what they're supposed to do as we grow, right? And the key, as you said, is to learn to no longer cling to things that are no longer priorities or that we no longer need, so that we can, what was it? I heard a saying, we must let go of the life we have in order to step into the life that is waiting for us, which is kind of a deep thought if you think about it. The things that we're clinging to right now may very well be holding us back or blocking us from things that are waiting for us, which are 10 times better. So let me think about that while I'm clinging to this death metal t-shirt. Thank you, John. It's always a pleasure, my friend. And yes, we will get together and work out the schedule, for crying out loud. Well, my friends, it's been entertaining and I hope a bit insightful as always. And unless there's another thought, a final thought on your mind that you'd like to share with us, well, I'm going to let us get on to our busy day. Once again,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ingrid. And congratulations on your recent absolutely amazing success. I'm so blown away by you, Ingrid. Holy moly.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Hospitality Suite right after this, and we will, I promise, Mr. Lavinia and I put our heads together and figure out this darn schedule thing, and you'll know exactly when it's going to be networking magic. I think we can work something out that's reliable. So I'll let you know. Once again, my friends, make it a fabulous day. And from the mouth of another friend of mine, everything in life is about creating relationships. Everything. Live long and prosper, my friends. See you soon. Bye for now.